So how do I start this video off? I made a gamble. It was a calculated, I felt, gamble, but it was a gamble nonetheless. It was something that I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. I was a little nervous about it, but I was excited about the opportunity. And unfortunately, that opportunity didn't work out, and I had to pull the plug. Today, I'm gonna tell you about it. So one of the reasons why I feel it's important to actually share the downside to entrepreneurship is because I feel like in the world of the internet, everybody is just showing you like the highlight reel and telling you, oh, it's awesome, and oh, I made this much money. Well, the reality is that in business comes risk. So like I've said before, nothing great was ever accomplished because it was easy or it was a sure thing. But in order to grow, whether or not it's individually, personally, professionally, you know, you've got to push yourself past your limitations and do things sometimes that are uncomfortable. There are a lot of people that I told me it was a horrible idea. There are people that I talked to that were like, don't do it. They said, don't do it, stupid. Stick to what you know, right? Which is the thing that you're going to hear a lot. When you tell your friends, your family, people that you're close to that you want to do something or try something. A lot of them that have small minds, small mentality, they don't have that growth mentality, they're not entrepreneurs, they're not going to understand. And it makes them uncomfortable, right? Because doing something outside of the box, doing something that is outside of the norm or what is expected or what you have learned or been taught or basically been encouraged to do your whole life, when you decide to breach that safety net or do something that is a little bit outside of that, a lot of people get weird, right? They get scared because it makes them fearful. It also basically highlights the fact that they have never taken a chance. And I truly feel like one of the reasons why people say don't do things or you shouldn't, or they basically give you negative feedback, is because it makes them realize how small and insignificant their decisions have been throughout their entire life. But me, I say fuck it. It was something that I just felt like I had to try. And if I didn't, I felt like I would regret it. And the place that I'm in right now, I'm gonna take calculated risks. I don't wanna regret. I don't wanna look back. I don't wanna think about the could'ves or would'ves or should-haves. I wanna say, you know what? Yeah, I tried it and guess what? It didn't work. Guess what? I'll take the loss and I'll move on. What did I learn? Well, that's what I'm actually gonna share with you today. But the bottom line is this. I made a calculated risk. It was wrong. Given the information that I had at the time, I felt good about it, but things changed. And when things change, which they always will, you've got to be willing to act. You've got to be nimble enough and smart enough to read the writing on the walls and change course of action quickly. Because one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is that they're overly committed, right? They start something, they go down a path, and then they're like, yo, I gotta keep going. Because either A, they don't have any option, or B, they don't wanna admit failure, or C, it's embarrassing to admit failure if I'm being honest. But in my experience, what I can tell you is this. It is better to risk it and try, fail, figure it out, and try again. And that has kind of been my motto, honestly. I've had over 20 businesses in my lifetime, and most of them haven't worked out, right? Some of them have. Some of them started to work a little bit, but then I decided to move on or change because it wasn't in my best interest, or my time wasn't best suited spending it doing that, when I could spend time doing other things that were working a little bit better. So back to the women's line. Actually, before I get to that, I do want to mention, if you guys are interested in starting a business, there's no better community than the White Label Empire. And honestly, I feel like I made a mistake naming it the White Label Empire because it's a lot more than that. It's basically a business community where we help you start a business, whether or not it starts white label or private label like Pete and Pedro did, or it's custom. The steps are identical to do both, and we talk about it, right? And we also help you and we encourage you and we make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to grow and scale. One of the reasons why I actually haven't been posting twice a week on this channel is because I've been working behind the scenes on something called the Accelerator Program, which I'm also gonna link to down below. The Accelerator Program is something that I'm really excited about because I feel like I can help more and there are things that I want to do. I basically want to have a vested interest in you and your business. And so I decided to basically see what I can do for 8 weeks. It's an 8-week online course that basically is going to take 12 rock stars and help them get their business off the ground and start making money. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. I want and need success stories, right? And that's the reason why I want to do this. I'm going to link down below to the White Label Empire. I'm also going to have a link down below to the Accelerator program if you're interested in applying. You've got to apply. It is an application process. And the reason is pretty simple. I don't want people, or I should say, I can't have people in there that aren't to the place that I need them to be in order to help them. I don't want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want to waste my time or my guy Mike Levy's time, because together we are basically going to try to help you get off the ground, scale, and grow your business. We're also going to help you strategize for the future. If you're interested, guys, in joining the White Label Empire or joining the Accelerator program, the links are going to be down below. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the women's line, what I learned, and what you can take away from my mistakes. So, backing up. The reason why I was so damn excited about this is pretty simple, because it was a market that I wasn't serving. There are women that are shopping on Pete and Pedro for products for themselves or for the men in their life. And so I thought to myself, wait a second, if 30% of my business is women, why don't I just offer them some awesome products? So when I had this idea, I went to my lab, the lab that I use for Pete and Pedro that I started, this business from, and they have a lot of women's products as well. And so I went to them, I said, hey, what are your top 10 SKUs for women's? They sell they're like a monster. They sell like billions of dollars of hair product to a bunch of other companies that sell them on Amazon or their own brand, right? So anyway, I went to him, I said, hey, tell me your 10 most popular products. And he was like, easy, here they are. It's literally like a no-brainer. And so I got it, and I was like, awesome. And then the question was, okay, do you want to have the same packaging as Pete and Pedro, or do you want to do things a little bit differently? And I said, no, I want them to look slightly different. And so I had the white bottle, I put a little pink donkey on it, and then the caps were silver. I wanted to make it a little bit more luxe, a little bit more feminine, right? And I was really excited. We built out the website. We even went and got people on TikTok and Instagram. I went and paid for some promotional videos to be done and some women influencers to do some videos. I hired a woman to kind of be like the spokesperson for the brand, because nobody's gonna buy women's products from me. And I was going in, all in, total investment, I'm at about $50,000. With the women's line. This is everything from opening inventory, technology, website, hiring talent, promotional things, advertising. I'm in about $50,000, right? And I was really excited. Well, a week after I launched, I got the word from our vendor that they changed the minimum order quantity. Instead of me being able to order 100 or 200 units, now the minimum 10,000. This was the deal breaker. And it wasn't just the women's line, it was anything that we basically were buying from them. It was a 10,000 unit minimum, which for some of our products, like salt and putty, our most popular products, no problem. We order that a lot, no big deal. But some of these other SKUs, like clay, actually clay's high, like cream and paste, and even pomades, some of these other shampoos that we have, that's a ton of inventory. And so when I came to the realization that I was gonna have to invest a lot more money in keeping inventory of the products that were actually moving for the men, it made me face the reality that was the women's line. We launched it, it was exciting, it was awesome, sales weren't ever incredible. We never really turned up the dial because there was always this looming, if we sell a lot, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna basically justify spending all of this money to reorder these products if I don't know for 100% fact that this line is gonna take steam or it's gonna work or whatever. Because if I have a lot of inventory, right, all this behind me, that's dollar bills sitting on the shelf. If I don't move through it, it's literally just wasting money. I can't use that money for anything. I can't use it for staff. I can't use it for bills. I can't use it for the light. I can't pay myself. I can't do anything. It's literally dead dollar bills until I sell through. And so I've already got enough dollar bills hanging out, chilling, waiting to move for the men's line. And so for me to incorporate another 10 units or 10 SKUs, 10,000 units, it was a deal breaker. I couldn't even comprehend it. And so at this point, it was what am I gonna do? Am I gonna then go and try to, find another lab in order to recreate these products? And we started going down that road, but then I just had to be honest with myself. It's like, all right, I think that this is something or could be something in the future, but right now it's just not. And I've got enough problems trying to just keep my regular business, my business that's booming and thriving, going and keeping it in inventory, because with the news from my lab that I needed to now order 10,000 units, it put an incredible financial strain on me personally and the business. Like if I'm normally comfortable around, and let me just show you around, all right? So as you see, like all these shelves, right? Just pallets of product. We've got a lot of packaging up there because we had to buy a lot of packaging, right? All this, like I said, is dead dollar bills. It's just inventory sitting there chilling until I'm able to sell it. All right, now normally, and this is just like a little like FYI, all right? So the way that we do things, every month we basically have an inventory report. We go through and we count everything, all right? Make sure that we have what we need and we see, okay, how many months of inventory do we have in all the SKUs? And then based on this, we know from our vendors and historical data how long it's gonna take us to basically place an order and get the new inventory. And so because we're growing so fast on a place like Amazon with certain SKUs, it's important for us to really dial this in and to make sure that we don't run out of inventory, because that would be literally like a death sentence to us. It would literally be like a punch in the nuts, right? And we don't wanna do that. We've worked too hard to get to where we are, and we don't wanna basically take a back seat or go backwards. And so inventory is a big thing. Now, there was a time where in this warehouse, I was carrying about $1 million worth of inventory, which was way too high. We had about like 7 to 8 months worth of inventory. And so over the years, we have worked diligently to really like pare it down and dial it down so that we have just enough. It's like just in time inventory, all right? As the stock is dwindling on the shelves, right, as it gets low, we're getting an order in. And then when that gets low, we get another order. It's a system that we've developed. And we got the inventory down to around like $450,000. And we were like streamlined. We were ordering when we needed to. We were getting the shipments. We were like really dialed in. Now COVID, that was another issue, right? Because with COVID, that effed everything up in terms of shipments and scheduling and getting inventory, packaging. So that was another thing that we had to figure out. Well, the deal is, because, that's all behind us and we really have great vendors and we've started to buy some of our own packaging, we basically have had to adjust our business as a result of that. But bottom line is we used to have around like $450,000 worth of inventory, which was awesome, which meant instead of having $1 million in here, that's $500,000 or $500,000 back into my pocket that I can use for development, new products, new inventory, like whatever, right? Well, because of this new caveat of the vendor needing us to order at least 10,000 units, we've started to get it in terms of our inventory, and now we're sitting at around $1.2 million worth of inventory. And I just saw on my credit card today, I got hit with another $100,000 order. And then I just wrote a check for the new fragrance that's coming in, which was another $50,000. And so in terms of cash flow, it's like flying because we needed to order the inventory or else we weren't going to be able to sell the product. We're also working with other manufacturers to figure out some of those smaller SKUs that we weren't moving the volume in order to basically keep some of the SKUs that were awesome, but we just weren't moving the volume in order to order 10,000 units. Like 10,000 units for some of these SKUs would literally be like 3 years worth of sales, and they expire in 2. And so it just wasn't something that we were able to do. And I didn't want to carry the inventory, dead inventory, for like 2 years of some of these smaller SKUs. So anyway, long story short, we went and we found some new vendors that are able to basically formulate and give us smaller orders, like 5,000. Even a 5,000 order is better than 10,000, obviously. So anyway, so that brings us back to the women's line. So it was literally like a week after I launched and we started selling. Sales were never amazing. We've had it now for about 5 months, and we've done probably a total of like $20,000 in business. In relation to Pete and Pedro, like last month, I'll show you. The first 5 months of the year, we've done $3.7 million. And so that's just to give you an idea, right? We've sold like $20,000 worth of women's products. And so it was a hard decision because I was invested in terms of I was excited about it, but I had to be real and I had to be honest. It was time to basically say, you know what? we got to kill this. And so what we've done to basically recoup our money is we've basically discounted to like nothing all of the women's products, which I'm going to link to down below if you want to go grab a screaming deal. At this point, it's not about making money. It's about getting my money back and just getting the inventory out the door. And so if you guys are interested, you got a loved one, spicy senorita, that you want to treat to some amazing hair products for like a stupid price, hit the link down below and check them out. But yeah, so that's what's going on. It was a risk. It was a gamble. It was something that I was interested, I was excited about because I saw the opportunity. And I'm not even saying that it's not something that I'm going to revisit in the future, but for the foreseeable future, there are things that I need to focus on here, and there are lower hanging fruit that I can basically figure out here in order to keep this business growing and scaling and basically becoming more profitable. You know, when it comes to business, guys, profit is what you need to focus on. You know, top line, it's sexy, right? Everybody likes to talk about, oh, I did $1 million or $2 million or whatever it is, but it's that bottom line. What is your profit, right? That's the thing you need to focus on, because without profitability, you are not going to be in business very long. Without profitability, like, you're not going to be in business very long. You've got to figure that out, right? And so anyway, I wanted to share this story with you because it's something that we're dealing with right now, and I feel like it's important. Because A, it's important for you to see somebody try something that they're passionate about or excited about and it not work, and them to be honest about it. Because I think that in today's world of everybody basically sugarcoats things or just shows you or tells you the upside of whatever they're doing, I think it's very important to hear the downside, because this is the reality. But it's also important for you to see that it's not going to keep me down, right? You can try something, you can fail, you can fuck it up, and you can pick yourself up and try again. And that's the name of the game, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Me, I took a shot, I took a gamble. It was a calculated risk. It was an amount of money that I could endure to basically lose if it all went to zero and I had to throw all the inventory out. I was going to be okay. I was going to survive. My thoughts and my goals were to have it be big and grow and be awesome and try to compete and scale on Amazon. But I was basically hobbled from the beginning because of the fact that I knew that I couldn't keep the inventory of these products. And so even though they're awesome, even though I love it, even though I like the idea, it just isn't a smart business decision. And so I gambled, I took the risk, and it's going to zero. But the good news is that I'm going to try again, and I hope so will you.